Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to Nine Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book, The Technological Republic, Hard Power, Soft Belief, and the Future of the West by Alexander C. Karp examines how advanced technology has become inseparable from national strength and civic cohesion. Drawing on widely discussed themes at the intersection of software, security, and democratic governance, the book argues that the West faces a strategic test whether it can align its most capable technological institutions with public purpose without abandoning liberal values. Karp focuses on the tension between hard power, the tools and capabilities that deter adversaries, and soft belief, the shared confidence that democratic societies can still build, decide, and act. Rather than treating technology as a neutral market output, the book frames it as a political and cultural project shaped by incentives, institutions, and ideology. It challenges readers to reconsider the relationship between private innovation and public authority, and to ask what kind of technological ecosystem a free society needs in a world of renewed geopolitical rivalry. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, technology as national power, not just consumer convenience. A central theme is the shift from viewing technology primarily as a generator of consumer products to recognizing it as a foundation of state capacity. In an era of strategic competition, the most consequential systems are often not the apps people download, but the platforms that improve intelligence analysis, logistics, cybersecurity, and decision support. The book highlights how the ability to collect, process, and operationalize data can shape outcomes in defense, diplomacy, and economic resilience. This perspective pushes readers to think in terms of industrial capability and strategic depth, supply chains for chips and sensors, secure cloud infrastructure, resilient communications, and the talent pipelines that sustain them. It also reframes debates about regulation and procurement, suggesting that slow, fragmented public processes can become a national vulnerability when adversaries iterate quickly. The topic underscores that hard power increasingly depends on software and data integration, and that maintaining deterrence may require a more deliberate partnership between governments and technology creators. The argument is not that democracies must mimic authoritarian models, but that they must treat technological capacity as integral to sovereignty and security. Secondly, soft belief and the crisis of confidence in Western institutions. The book pairs material capability with a less tangible ingredient, collective belief that institutions can act effectively and legitimately. Soft belief includes trust in expertise, faith in public service, and a shared understanding that democratic processes can still solve complex problems. Karp emphasizes that technological dominance is not merely a matter of budgets and laboratories. It also relies on cultural confidence that building difficult systems is worthwhile and honorable. When societies become cynical about government competence or suspicious of any state involvement, they may unintentionally weaken their own ability to respond to strategic threats. The topic explores how polarization, institutional distrust, and fragmented narratives can erode the willingness to invest in long-term national projects. It also examines the social status of engineers, public servants, and builders, arguing that societies that celebrate only short-term financial wins may neglect the civic meaning of creation. By focusing on belief, the book suggests that strategic renewal depends on rebuilding legitimacy and shared purpose, enabling public and private actors to cooperate without treating every collaboration as inherently corrupt or authoritarian. Thirdly, the public-private divide and the ethics of defense technology. Another important thread is the uneasy relationship between leading technology companies and defense or security missions. In recent years, many workers and consumers have questioned whether private firms should contribute to military capabilities, surveillance, or intelligence. The book approaches this controversy as a defining governance question for democracies. How can a free society deploy advanced tools for legitimate defense while preserving rights, accountability, and moral clarity? This topic considers the trade-offs of outsourcing critical capabilities to private vendors, as well as the risks of keeping government technical capacity too weak to be an informed buyer or overseer. It also raises questions about transparency, oversight, and the boundaries of acceptable use, especially for data-driven systems and AI-enabled analysis. Rather than presenting an easy resolution, the discussion stresses that ethical decision-making must be institutionalized through law, procurement standards, audits, and democratic control, not left to ad hoc internal debates. It argues that refusing engagement altogether can have consequences, including leaving crucial capabilities to less accountable actors abroad or to domestic institutions that cannot modernize. Fourthly, building state capacity, procurement, talent, and speed of execution. The book places strong emphasis on operational realities. Even the best ideas fail if institutions cannot execute. Western governments often struggle with procurement cycles that move slowly, specifications that freeze requirements too early, and compliance processes that prioritize risk avoidance over outcomes. This topic outlines why such dynamics matter more now, when software-driven systems can be iterated rapidly and when adversaries can exploit bureaucratic delays. It also focuses on talent, arguing that the state must be able to recruit and retain technical experts who can evaluate vendors, design architectures, and manage complex deployments. Without that competence, governments may become dependent on consultants or locked into outdated systems, weakening both security and fiscal responsibility. The discussion highlights the need for modern contracting methods, clearer accountability for delivery, and a culture that rewards learning and iteration. It also implies that public institutions must become better customers, capable of defining mission-aligned goals and measuring results. The broader point is that strategic resilience requires not only innovation in startups and labs, but also institutional modernization in the agencies that ultimately deploy technology at scale. Lastly, a future of the West. Framed by geopolitical competition and AI, the final major topic is the long-term contest over the norms, infrastructure, and strategic advantages shaped by emerging technologies, especially AI. The book situates Western choices within a global environment where rival systems may integrate state direction, industrial policy, and security services more tightly. This creates pressure on democracies to respond with coherence while preserving open society principles. The topic explores how AI can amplify both strengths and weaknesses. It can improve forecasting, logistics, and defense readiness, yet it can also magnify misinformation, enable intrusive monitoring, and accelerate decision cycles in dangerous ways. A key point is that the future will likely reward societies that can coordinate across sectors, protect critical infrastructure, and maintain a shared civic narrative about why technological leadership matters. It suggests that the West cannot rely on historical prestige or market dynamism alone. It must deliberately shape standards, alliances, and strategic investments. The argument ultimately frames technological leadership as part of a civilizational project, where values, competence, and capacity must align to sustain security and influence in the decades ahead. In conclusion, this book is best suited for readers who want to understand why technology now sits at the center of national strategy, including policymakers, defense and intelligence professionals, entrepreneurs, engineers, and civically engaged citizens who follow debates about AI, security, and democracy. It can benefit a reader's life by offering a clearer framework for interpreting headlines that otherwise feel disconnected, supply chain shocks, cyber incidents, AI regulation, and geopolitical conflict. By emphasizing both hard capabilities and soft belief, it encourages readers to think beyond technical features or partisan arguments and instead focus on institutional competence, Compared with many technology and society books that concentrate on consumer harms or abstract ethics, this one is positioned around state capacity and strategic outcomes, making it particularly useful for readers who want to connect innovation to defense, governance, and competitiveness. It is worth buying if you want a perspective that treats technological leadership as a public responsibility rather than a byproduct of markets, and if you want to grapple with how democracies can modernize without surrendering the principles that make them worth defending. If you would like to support Alexander C.C. Karp, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.